TNA Wrestling presents Rebellion this upcoming Saturday on the 20th of April on pay-per-view, taking place in Palms Casino Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada. Going to give you the match card and predictions for you on this video here today. Going to kick things off with the TNA World Championship, the main event, the champion Moose defending against Nic Nemeth, and of course these two were always going to collide after Hard to Kill. If you remember, Moose with his new faction, The System, won the World Championship from Alex Shelley at the end of that pay-per-view. And just before it went off air, Nic Nemeth revealed himself to be the big mystery TNA signing. Of course, one of the biggest signings in TNA history. Now, of course, as soon as that happened, you knew eventually these two were going to collide, and we're going to get it on this show here at Rebellion. Now, of course, Nemeth has beaten Steve Macklin at Sacrifice on the road to getting here, so he has put away a former world champion on the road to getting a title shot. It's not just walking in and going, here you go, here's the title. But of course, Moose has been having some great matches with, as I say, Alex Shelley and Eric Young on the road to this match as well. And to be honest, to give a prediction, I just have a feeling that Nic Nemeth is going to walk away TNA world champion. You don't put this promise of this big signing to come in only for him to foul the first hurdle against Moose. I think he's going to carry the company into the summer and perhaps all the way to Bound for Glory. I expect Nic Nemeth to be your new TNA World Champion. Moving on to the Knockouts World Championship, we've got Jordynne Grace defending against Steph Lilander. She's going to be with Matt Cardona, of course. Well, Steph actually made her return to TNA just recently, part of the 8-4-1 match. And of course, replacing Ash by Elegance, who's supposed to be in the match as well. Steph actually picked up the victory, but of course, did get the help by a surprise returning Matt Cardona as well, hitting the radio silence to Rosemary. Of course, Lilander then actually hitting the TKO for the victory. I really enjoyed the contract signing between these two as well. Thought that was a lot of fun on the build to this show, and to be honest, a lot of digs being made to Matt Cardona there, of course, with Chelsea as well. But I part of me just thinks to myself here, wouldn't it be just the biggest shock if Steph Lilander actually won the Knockouts World Championship here? And obviously, with some people leaving TNA recently, I'm thinking of the Motor City Machine Guns, you do start to worry if other talents are going to be leaving the company soon. Look, we can't help but think about it. Jordynne Grace will be hot property. If she was to become a free agent, she was in the Royal Rumble earlier this year, you would imagine that there would be contacts there for her to join permanently. But I want Jordynne Grace to remain in TNA Wrestling. I want her to remain the champion. The odds seem stacked against her with Cardona being in the corner of Steph Lilander. But I'm going to go for Jordynne Grace here to pick up the win. I'm wondering if Ash by Elegance was supposed to be the one in this position and was supposed to be the one to win the title. So I think until it's Ash by Elegance, I'm going to say Jordynne Grace always retains. Moving on to a match I'm really looking forward to, Josh Alexander versus Hammerstone in a last man standing match. Two amazing matches to this point, one win each, and of course Hammerstone did kind of technically cheat to get his win, didn't he, using a low blow, and of course then taking Alexander's headpiece as well after the match. So yeah, I mean, he's been actually taunting Josh Alexander every opportunity as well, but has been dodging Alexander's open challenge matches to the point he was pretty much said, you're ducking me, and to the point he said, well, we'll do this match one more time, but on my terms. And clearly seems to be his terms are last man standing and TNA Rebellion. I'm really looking forward to this match, especially with this stipulation as well, because this will be the defining final chapter, the third act between these two. And to be honest, I can see it going either way. The feeling for me is that Hammerstone, for me, is the newcomer that's come in, but he's also the heel in this scenario. And I think with Nic Nemeth, if he wins the world title, it does make it open season. Fresh matches at the top. Alexander could go for the world title again. That would be a fresh match for Nic Nemeth. But Hammerstone as well, you imagine he's going to be a big time player coming in. It's a big get for TNA for him to come in, and I have a feeling he's probably more equipped for this style of match. So yeah, I'm actually going to go for, against my morals, I usually always go for Josh Alexander to pick up wins, but on this one, I'm going to go for Hammerstone. We've got Full Metal Mayhem, of course, two TNA originals here, Eric Young versus Frankie Kazarian. Really looking forward to this one, the two vets here going one-on-one, because of course they did face just recently in a number one contenders match after, well, Kazarian originally had turned on Eric Young, led to a match at, I believe it was No Surrender, when Eric Young won that #1 contenders match against Kazarian, because Kazarian wanted to get to the top, wanted to go for the world title, and of course realized he wasn't better than Eric Young. So he was away, he took out officials afterwards, was suspended for a couple of weeks, and when he returned, well, he got involved with Eric Young's match, which was involved for the world title, actually using some cable around him as well. And of course this has led to then all the rules book being thrown out the window and Full Metal Mayhem being brought in for this show. Really looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. In a way, makes the most sense for Eric Young to win because of the fact he's the babyface and he's been some wrongdoing after the sacrifice event. But I'm going to go for Frankie Kazarian to pick up the win here. As I said, I've gone for Nic Nemeth to actually win the world title here. So we need to establish some heels as future challengers. And Kazarian has been calling his shot for a world title opportunity for a long time in TNA. So I think this is going to be his time. He's finally going to get the opportunity to get a match for the world title. Will he win it? Of course not. I think Nic Nemeth would pick up the victory. However, I think it'll be a fun match when they do that match. So I'm going to go for Kazarian to pick up the win. For the TNA Tag Team Championships, we've got two members of the system, Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, going against Speedball Mountain. Of course, they've been racking up quite a lot of wins, Speedball Mountain, as of late. Speedball, Mike Bailey, and Trent 7. So can they get the job done then when it comes to this show? My answer is going to be no. I think Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers only just recently won the tag team titles a few weeks ago. It seems silly for them to drop it this quickly. I know that Speedball Mountain they've been due opportunities in the past at these tag team titles and not had them. So it doesn't make it feel appropriate to get the proper shot here, the one team that gets the shot. But I'm going to go for Edwards and Myers to retain. We've got the X Division Championship on the line. Mustafa Ali taking on Jake Something. Of course, we had a Rebellion referendum, which was a 6-man scramble match to determine the #1 contender here, which Jake Something won to go against Mustafa Ali on this show. For me, I'm going to be honest, I'm still not overly invested in Jake Something. I don't know what it is. There's something missing for me of the jigsaw, because he's got a lot to offer. But I think maybe something character-wise, just something there that I'm not connected to at this moment. However, I think a match against Ali has the tools to get anyone invested, because Ali's a fantastic performer. I've enjoyed his run in TNA so far, but I'm hearing these rumblings that he may not be sticking around in the company past Rebellion. Hope that is wrong and that is false information that's going around the grapevine, but for that reason I will predict Jake Something to win just from what I've heard. Had I not heard the information, I would have predicted Ali to retain. And last match on the main card before we go to the countdown matches, we've got Joe Hendry versus Rich Swann. Of course, Rich Swann will be with AJ Francis, of course, the newly known duo as First Class, with the dollar signs in there. Loving that, by the way. Should make a great team going forward. Of course, Rich Swann turned his back, of course, on Joe Hendry to join alongside AJ Francis, who've had problems with Joe Hendry since Hard to Kill. Should be a fun match. Should be a nice little grudge match, this one. Of course, two very good in-ring performers. The fact that Rich Swann has just had this sort of, I don't know, change, this heel turn, makes me want to lean towards the heel side again. I know I'm doing a lot in this video, aren't I? But sometimes heels need to pick up victories. It gives them the momentum and it gives you a reason to want to see them get beat further down the line. Maybe Joe Hendry can get that win further down the line, because I believe in Joe Hendry. You knew that line was coming, but still, I'm going to go for Rich Swann to pick up the win in this match. He's just had the change of gimmick, and I think it helps him and AJ if Rich Swann picks up a win in this match. Going on then to countdown to Rebellion, we've got Spitfire defending the titles against Decay. This is a rematch, of course, from Sacrifice, when Spitfire won the titles from Decay. I think they will retain the titles here over Decay. I think we've had a merry-go-round with these Knockouts Tag Team titles since the reformation of TNA. They've always been changing on a monthly basis. We've now got a place where I think that these titles should stick, at least for the medium to long term. So I'm going to go for Spitfire, Jody and Dani Luna to retain those titles. And to finish off, we've got a fantastic spectacle, a 6-man tag team match, which I think will kick off the entire night. ABC and of course UK's own Leon Slater taking on the Rascalz and their longtime friend Myron Reed. Should be a fun time, X Division fun, high flying all over the place. I'm going to have a great time watching this match. I'm going to go for ABC and Leon Slater to pick up the win, just purely because I don't bet against ABC. But yeah, going to be a fun time. Really looking forward to it. Couldn't be the match that I'm most looking forward to the entire show, and it's on the countdown to Rebellion. Just shows how talented all those guys are. But that's my predictions there for TNA Rebellion. If any matches are added late in the day, then I'll try and do a separate short for those. But if you've enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, share with a friend, and and subscribe as well. Of course, the more likes that get put on these videos, I know then to do more TNA content. This was supposed to be originally meant to be a live stream, so apologies to spin done in the pre-recorded format, but so much going on in the wrestling world right now, and I hope that you will follow me on this journey on this channel and watch some of the videos that are popping up on the side of your screen right now. Thanks for watching. Look after yourselves and each other. I'll see you for the next video.